All right, guys, we are going to continue our deep dive into finding the main idea. We've been working on this all week, so by now you know that the main idea is what the text is mostly about. This is the most important thought or the main idea. On Monday, we talked about how sometimes this might be called the central idea, the central purpose, the main purpose. All of those words mean the same thing. This is the main idea or what the text is mostly about, the most important thought. On Tuesday, we practiced some clues to help us find the main idea. We looked at titles and headings, looked at any pictures, looked at the first and last sentences, and looked for repeating words. And you guys got to watch as I did that in front of you on Tuesday and really walked you through my thinking and how to go about using those tools. And those are great tools to have in our toolbox. However, it is important to note that those are not going to work every time. I'm going to say that again. These 4 things aren't going to work every time you read something. And you might be thinking, well, Ms. Tharp, why did you spend time teaching them to us if they're not going to work? Well, they'll work sometimes, but it's important for us to use these as a tool and not as an answer all the time, okay? So if you're using this tool and you find that it's not working for you or you're not getting the right answer, we're going to teach a new strategy today that you can use after you've tried these things, okay? And I really think that this is going to help you understand and visually see what a main idea is and how to best find that. I'm telling you guys, when I figured out that this was a strategy we could use in our class, I really thought that it was a game changer. It's going to really help you focus in on finding what the passage is mostly about. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started with a big long paragraph, let's get started with something that's short and easy. This is a simple sentence. They played at the park. Okay? If you were to receive this sentence on a case test or a cert test or on a ReadWorks or even in a test that I give in class, it would probably come with a question that looks like this. What is this sentence mostly about? Okay? And we're going to look at these answer options. So answer number 1, where they played. Okay, well, I see this word played, and I see it again here. They played at the park. Where they played, well, they played at the park. I think that this is a good answer. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's the right answer because I haven't looked at the other ones. How do I know that this is right when I haven't looked at what the other answers have to offer? So I'm going to put a star next to it, and that just tells me, okay, I think that this is a good answer. I'm going to come back to it. Number 2, how to get to the park. Okay, well, it says they played at the park, but it doesn't mention any kind of transportation. It doesn't mention a bus or a bike or a car or even walking. So I'm going to say that this one is incorrect. I'm going to go ahead and just put a line through it because that's not what this sentence is about. Number 3, what they ate at the park. Again, it doesn't mention any specific foods. It doesn't even use the word ate. So I'm going to say that this is incorrect, okay? So I know that my correct answer, what is this sentence about? It's about where they played. They played at the park. And it's really important that you go through each of these answers and really focus in on what the sentence is mostly about, the main idea of the sentence. Well, that's easy. You guys got that, right? You guys would be able to answer that question and get it right every time. I know it. So let's go to something that might be a little bit more challenging. This is a whole paragraph. So we're going to look through this paragraph. We're going to use some of our tools from Tuesday, and then we're going to practice our new strategy. So it says, going to the beach. Fran and Lee are going to the beach. Fran gets her swimsuit, and then she finds her beach towel, and finally her beach ball. Lee wants to bring his radio. Don't forget to take your sunscreen, Lee, Fran says. You don't want to get a sunburn. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to mark in purple all of the things that I can use with my toolbox from these tools on Tuesday, okay? I'm going to look at the title, going to the beach. Well, I'm going to say that the beach is probably important. It's in the title. Let's look at the first and last sentence. Fran and Lee are going to the beach. Okay. You don't want to get a sunburn. Okay. I don't think either of those is the main idea, and they're also not options over here. So I'm going to not pay attention to my first or last sentence. There are no pictures for me to look at, so I'm going to move on to repeated words. There are repeated words. Beach is repeated. So I'm going to underline each time it says beach. Now, from these clues that I used from Tuesday, I might be able to figure out what the paragraph is mostly about. Things you bring to the beach, finding a swimsuit, the pain of a sunburn. Well, I see that beach is underlined a lot and it says beach here. So I might be able to pick this as my answer using my tools from Tuesday, okay? But remember, those tools aren't always accurate. So I'm going to teach you a new strategy to use if you want to just double check yourself and make sure that everything you're doing is on the right track. So this strategy is how to analyze. And that's a big, fancy word, analyze. So how am I going to pick through this and make sure that I am choosing the best answer, what the paragraph is mostly about? So here's the strategy. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read each sentence. And after each sentence, I'm going to put a tally mark next to the answer that sentence best goes with. Okay? And then at the end, I'm going to count up all my tally marks, and the answer with the most tally marks will be what the paragraph is mostly about. So let's practice. Fran and Lee are going to the beach. Fran gets her swimsuit, and then she finds her beach towel, and then finally her beach ball. All of these things are things that you would bring to the beach, right? It also mentions a swimsuit, so I'm going to put a tally mark next to that. Lee wants to bring his radio. Okay, well, that's something I'll bring to the beach, my radio. Don't forget to take your sunscreen, Fran says. Okay, I'm going to bring the sunscreen. You don't want to get a sunburn. I'm going to mark that down here because it has to do with sunburn. All right, so after I've read my passage and I've marked where each sentence goes, I can see that the most tallies goes with this, things that you would bring to the beach. That's what this paragraph is mostly about. Okay, we have Fran and Lee, and they're going to bring their swimsuit and their beach towel, their beach ball. They're going to bring their radio and their sunscreen. Okay, it's all about getting prepared to go to the beach. So this is our best answer. Okay, and remember, I found that because after each sentence, I found which one of these answers the sentence went with, and then I marked it next to the answer. Okay. You could do this if you were having like a paper pencil test. You could make those tallies yourself. If you're using a test on the computer, you might not have that option, but you could do it in your head. Okay. Or you can use little annotation tools if it's on Cami or something. You just want to make sure that you are tallying after each sentence. Where does that sentence go with which of these options? Okay. And that's how we know what this paragraph is mostly about. That's analyzing. That's looking closely at this text, really taking our time and picking apart each sentence to make sure that we have the correct answer. Okay? So when I say I want you to take your time on your tests, it's things like this that I want you to do. I went through and I underlined and I drew tally marks and I made stars. Okay? Those things help me really focus in on what the paragraph is about. And they're things that you can do too when you're taking a test. So this is something I want you to try. Now, in the text box below, I want you to write a summary of the strategy you just watched me do. So pretend that your friend missed school today and you're in charge of telling them how to analyze the main idea. So you're going to tell them the first thing you do is read the passage, then you read your answer options, then you read through your passage again, and after each sentence, you put a tally mark next to the answer option that sentence goes with. That's a quick summary of how to analyze main idea. I want you to type something like that in your own words in the text box below. just so that I know that you really understand how to analyze main idea. This strategy and the strategies we learned Tuesday, you're going to put to use tomorrow. So I can't wait to see how you do with those.